Hey, Christy, I saw this clip right on Instagram, and they're sharing it, basically showing a guy at Thanksgiving having a meltdown with his liberal parents. And I ain't gonna lie, I commented, I said, hey, man, it's one day out of the year, no politics at the table, respect your parents. And you got a crazy story to tell, right, sis? So go ahead, Christy, go take it away.
Yeah, I do. So, I flew into Indiana, and also Kentucky's just right across the border, really close, and went and saw my father, who has always been very ultra conservative. And Trump came. Oh, well, I tell you what came on television was whenever they said that Trump had Kanye and Nick Fuentes over for dinner or whatever, and my dad started talking bad about Trump, saying that Trump had reigned the Republicans that we have in office, and I sat there, Nino, and it was like I could just feel it bubbling. Is all I can say. I could just feel it like I don't want to do this. I don't get to see my dad, but once every usually 8 to 10, 12 months, and it just spewed from me. I kind of was like, which Republicans did he reign? Are you talking about Mitch McConnell? Are you talking about Pence? Who are you speaking of exactly? And
So,
then,
Christy, so you're saying that it just popped up out of nowhere? I mean, did you already have the mindset of not talking about politics? Or I mean, that's your dad. Y'all on the same team, right? But you weren't thinking about talking politics, right? It just kind of came up out of nowhere, this conversation?
yeah, because he had the television on, and
Oh, okay.
that it showed that Trump had Kanye and Nick Fuentes, over for dinner, and the way that the media was, spinning their own narrative for that, and I felt like that I just felt almost like shell shocked, because he was almost feeding into the same narrative that the media was portraying, and my dad is the one that turned me ultra conservative, and I'm so further right than my dad now that I was just so shocked to hear the things that he was saying.
Yeah.
So of course I got on my rampage and said the things that I needed to say and felt like I needed to say, and about the deep state and the
Yeah.
swamp and all of that, and it ended up not making for such a good dinner for the rest of the evening. But I can't apologize for who I am. I felt it. I felt like I needed to say it, and as I told you earlier, I'm a right fighter. If I feel like I'm right, I'm gonna battle to my death to prove that I'm right.
Yeah, and I kind of talked about this earlier. Just welcome to the Shun Club. I mean, me and my family now, we're shunned, and I don't want to talk too much about our business. My wife hates when I say this kind of stuff, but because of my stance, my political and religious views, what I'm saying, there's no more invites to anything anymore, and that's just anybody out there that can relate. Y'all know how it is. You're not going to be liked. They're not going to talk good about you, and it's not really for anything you've done, because people like me, we can help people left and right, but it's because of what you believe in. That's the worst part. It's your stance, what you believe in, and they'll hate you and shun you for that. Do you regret, getting into it with your dad? Do you regret, even doing it, because now you're back at home and you don't see your father, much? And this one time you saw him, you basically, were the black sheep. You're the black sheep MAGA there. Go ahead.
I was. I definitely was. And do I regret doing it? No, because one of the types of people that perturb me the most, Nino, are the people that talk a really good game when they're around. The same people that believe that stuff in them. If you're true Christian MAGA, then you're that true Christian MAGA every day.
Yeah.
And just because somebody doesn't want to hear what you say, you don't sit there quietly and just kind of fold. And like I said, I agree with you completely. It's too late to red pill people. People already believe what they believe. But I was told that who am I to judge, that people have the right to their own kind of lifestyle. And I said, you're absolutely wrong. The Bible says to give a sharp rebuke, and that we don't have to stand with wicked and unholy. And so, yeah, it went where it went. And do I feel bad for it? No, my dad and I always have a lot of love for each other, but he is a watered down Republican now, is all I can tell you. And it shocked me. I hate to say that about my own dad. My dad, it was ultra conservative, and I am so much further right than I guess that he has ever been, that he was like, wow. So,
Christy, it's interesting you said. Do you think that he's kind of like slowed down or kind of, not been so hard leaning in his ways due to maybe his, man, I don't want to say his marriage or getting to his business, but maybe his marriage, his living conditions, maybe he's already older and more, I would say maybe wiser. Maybe he's living somewhere in a different part of the country. I mean, do you think there's a reason why he's kind of like been watered down in your opinion? I mean, why would somebody do that?
I think, Nino, honestly, I think it's because of retirement that he's so watered down. I think that he get.
I'm glad. I didn't say retirement, but that's kind of where I was leaning to. I'm glad you said that word because that's what I'm saying. Like he's like, what I'm saying, he done made it. Like why does he want to sit there and have a battle cry? Like us, we're out there on the front lines, or we're voicing our concerns on YouTube of all places and all platforms. But he's retired, so maybe that's the reason. But go ahead, sis. Sorry to cut you off.
No, and that was just it. Like when I tell you, like how much he influenced like my beliefs in politics and conservatism and Christianity. I mean, he did. He's definitely not as far right, I guess, as I am now, but I do believe a lot of it's retirement. He sits, in his recliner and is in front of social media and the news media daily. So he hears their narratives. And like I told him, he was talking about that he believes that DeSantis is the best choice for this country and that Trump has really reigned the Republican Party. And that sent me into a whole nother spiel.
Well, Christy, let's touch on that real quick. Let's be honest. I mean, Trump is the disruptor. I called Elon Musk a disruptor yesterday with me and Liberty Dragon's phone call. But Trump is the disruptor, and I do see why someone like him and people on the right would think that DeSantis is a safer pick. Us, we want Trump no matter what. We don't even care if we lose. We're going to vote for him regardless, right? We're just C-45s all the way, to a fault. I mean, I even said it. If we freaking lose, if we stand on our godly moral principles and vote for who we believe, even if he's not going to win, I don't care. If this nation goes down, I mean, what can you do about it, right? But basically, I think there is a sentiment that's shared amongst conservatives and the right that Trump is a problem, because he is a problem. Let's just be honest. Go ahead.
Well, and so, that was one of the things that was said yesterday is that he has no filter. Well, I don't either. And, we were all made to get our point across, our message across. However, Jesus made us. And do I sometimes think that having no filter is a blessing and a curse? I do. But, I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I said, DeSantis, like, bold-faced lied to us, like, several times, all the way from, the beginning of the pandemic all the way through, until this hurricane. I said, he's pretty for the cameras. He knows what to say. He's well-versed. I said, he's a white Barack Obama. I mean, that's just the way I felt.
Man, I like that. I ain't heard that one yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I felt. Everybody knows that Barack Obama, I mean, his vernacular, his verbiage, all the things that he says I mean, he's a great spokesperson. But just because you can speak well, the devil had a slick tongue too. So,
amen.
So yeah,
it's interesting. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So, for me to feel like that, I just needed to speak up whenever he was saying that Trump had reigned the Republican Party. I just was like, Dad, like, come on. I mean, really look at the facts. Like, just because you don't like some of the things that come out of his mouth doesn't mean that he wasn't, like, the strongest thing for this country. And talked about how much money I made under Trump and all of that. And, I mean, my dad heard me. I mean, he listened to me. But I was definitely the black sheep that, like you said, the shun crew.
Christy, and real quick, let's talk about that. So you did this before, after the dinner. Was the dinner awkward? Did it kind of put a dampen on the whole get together for your family?
The vibe definitely changed, is all I can tell you, because it just wasn't about politics. It was about some religious things too that I believe in that I absolutely will never accept. I'm sorry that people have family members that are part of different agendas, but it kind of put a damper on the whole dinner because I got up there and I was speaking biblical fact and people don't know how to respond to that whenever yeah,
Well,
they don't know how to respond whenever you start in with your, with your beliefs and
yeah.
all that, and you have backup for those beliefs. So it's tough. Yeah, it kind of put a damper on everything for the rest of the night.
And then when everything's the dust settled, I mean y'all hugged and it's all good. But I'm pretty sure they probably went away probably talking about it a little bit then, right? I mean y'all left peacefully. Everything went cordial at the end.
Oh yeah, I mean we,
Yeah.
Dad said that he loved me and all of that and everything. But I'm sure that it's still being spoke about because there was a lot of family there. So
Wow.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
salute you, sis, for standing up for what you believe in. Again, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why my parents, I told my brother, my big brother, let's do Thanksgiving with my parents, but they left to the casino, so they do that every
Mm.
Thanksgiving now. And my wife even says she kind of realizes why, some people do that. On holidays, they'll kind of just, what I'm saying, back away from the family and they'll do other things. And it's sad, but at the same time, I understand why. Some families cannot get together. Some families cannot agree. And then politically, it throws in a whole nother, monkey wrench in the whole equation. That's why, like I said, you know what? I mean, we're here, we're shunned, but people that are in our house, we believe in free speech and we believe in Jesus. So people know that when they come to our house, that's what we push and believe in. And our Thanksgiving went off without a hitch, and it was a great time. Me and my family, having our own tradition now. My wife's cooking here. We're cooking here, having a turkey with our kids coming over. And so it was good for us. But I just wanted to share that quick story with everybody listening that, what I'm saying, politics and religion can get into these family conversations when you don't even see people for years at times. And then you are
Hmm.
standing up, rebuking, standing for the Bible and standing against wicked lifestyles that you will never agree with. And let's be honest, sis, we're part of the dark MAGA. I would say the C45, the I don't know how else to say it without getting banned here, but there are enemies of God.
Exactly.
There are enemies of God. I believe they're not my friends. I'm not going to stand with them. And if you read between the lines, y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all, we just, what I'm saying,
Yep.
we're standing on this side. They stand on that side. We are not with them. We're not going to bow to their agenda. We're not going to sit here and say it's okay and whatever. Let people live. You know what? People are going to live no matter what. They're going to make their decisions no matter what. But I think when people use that phrase, they cower out. Like, I don't judge them. I got a family member that's this, and
Hmm.
well, you know what I say. I don't want them around my kids or my family or even my dogs. To be honest, and that's a whole nother video. We're just being here speaking about Christi's experience with the situation. Final words, Christi. Go ahead.
The one thing that I was just going to say real quick is that you were talking about was, besides the Bible being my most like go to for everything, the second thing after that is the Constitution.
Yep.
And my dad even asked me for or a definition yesterday of what like woke companies were, and talked about agendas and things like that. But I did, like, I went full MAGA yesterday,
Mm.
and do I feel bad for it? I don't. I just, we've been shunned for so long, and I have to stand for what I believe in, and I did yesterday. And do I feel guilty for it? Not at all. Like, I feel like that although I fall short of glory every day, that my faith and my walk with Jesus has gotten stronger over the last 3 years.
Wow.
I also feel like that my respect of the Constitution has grown tremendously over the last few years, and those are two things that you just cannot take away from me. You're not taking my Bible, and you're not taking my Constitution, and that's what it is.